The Joe Rogan Experience.
So you were saying that you're on the fence, off the fence about Grusch.
The story I was hearing is it's a lot. I'm going to skip a lot of it, but what I was reading and / what they were saying is that one possibility that could be going on is there is I think we're taking in some of Graham Hancock stuff too. If people were around on Earth 500,000 years ago, in some way, there was some split and a second set of humans continued on, and we're like in this interdimension space where they're both happening simultaneously, and that's where like if
he was saying this?
No. This is I'm gathering this all from like that video. I'm adding in some of Graham Hancock stuff too because this kid also interviewed him, Jesse Michaels, on his podcast, and they're talking about some of the same stuff. But something they said in the Grusch interview on his podcast was that an idea would be that these people exist on like a split timeline from us. Like we had cataclysms and died and repopulated and whatnot. Now we've ended in this place in 2023 with combustion engines and we're flying around. These people would have been in a different anti-gravity. Who knows what they figured out?
And they went somewhere else?
They're not even saying that. This is where like they're not going to talk. They haven't talked about that, but I think what they're saying or getting at maybe is that they're here, and that's why the nuclear thing is so important to them. They're on the same planet as us, and if we blow up the planet, it goes away for them.
So they're
too.
Here, we just don't know where they are.
And that's where the interdimension thing comes in. That's what I'm gathering out of what I've heard.
How high were you when you came up with this theory?
It's not. I don't think I'm saying it's my theory. This is what they're sort of saying.
I understand.
And Grusch is sort of like, that's an interesting thing you're saying. He's not confirming it with them or anything, but it's a lot to take in. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah, it's all a lot to take in. David Grusch is that UFO whistleblower that testified in front of Congress.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, man. The thing about it is, I believe he's telling the truth as far as what he's experienced and the documents that he uncovered and the people that he talked to. But how do you know whether or not they're just using him as a useful idiot to just get out some silly story because they're covering up for the fact that there's some very advanced drone system that the United States government has that they're trying to keep under wraps?
Right.
It might
Tough
be
to
both.
know.
I think it's probably both things. Well, here's the thing. You're out in the woods all the time. You ever see a UFO?
No.
Ever see Bigfoot?
No.
Ever talked to a hunter that's seen a UFO?
No.
Ever talked to a hunter that's seen Bigfoot?
I talked to
Really?
the guys down at San Carlos, the Apache Reservation.
Yeah.
They said they've seen stuff.
Okay. Were they on peyote?
I don't know.
Because I know a lot of those Indians like to get down.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't. And it's been like multiple times.
What kind of stuff?
Like square, like something square flying.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing that they describe, right? It's a square with a sphere inside of it, like a black. No, the opposite.
Yeah.
A sphere with a black square inside
like
of it.
a force field or something.
I always fucked that
Yeah.
up.
So that's.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody other than that. That's the first story I've heard from somebody who I have talked to.
Well, that kind of makes sense because that thing they do spot. That's a common one. Some flying square inside a sphere, like a translucent sphere. And that's like legitimate pilots have seen that. That's a weird one.
Right.
Because my theory, and this is totally unfounded without any research whatsoever. It's just
Those are the best kind.
This is my favorite kind of theories. My theory is that they have this ability to make something move in this insane way with gravity, but they can't put a body in it and they can't put weapons in it. They can't. It's just an object that they can get to move at insane rates of speed. That's what I think. I think the military applications of this thing have yet to be figured out. But I think they do have something that can do things that we have no knowledge of. But the United States government is probably have in their possession something that was either back engineered from something from somewhere else or something that they developed in a completely top secret environment with the top research scientists probably during the wars, during World War II and Vietnam.
That's impending.
And in Iraq and Afghanistan. You think about the amount of money that gets funneled through the government. And that they don't, I mean, didn't the Pentagon just for the 6th year in a row fail their audit? Imagine if
Probably.
you failed your audit 6 years in a
Yeah,
row.
I
Boy,
know.
they'd crawl up your ass with a fucking microscope.
Yeah.
I think, is that what it was?
Have they ever passed it? But yeah, that is correct. It does say failed sixth audit with number passing grade.
So there's a lot of money flowing around, is my point.
Yeah.
And who knows how much of that money is going to these secret programs that we don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And if they did that, and they did have the top scientists, and if I was the fucking president, and I was the chief of staff, and I was running the Pentagon, I would want the best scientists. So I'd recruit the best scientists, and I'd say, hey, this is national security. We're working on this project. It uses gravity propulsion. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody, but you get to work on some cool shit.
Yeah. And you get paid a lot of money.
You get paid a lot of money,
Yeah.
and you get to be a part of one of the most insane discoveries in human history. So this is what we're working on.
Yeah.
I think that's likely too. But then you got to go back to like the Foo Fighters from the 1940s and the crash at Roswell, and that you also have to be open to the possibility that, like, look, there's a lot of planets out there. Mm-hmm. A lot of planets out there. It's very possible that we're not alone.